Welcome, everyone. It's Maneka here for the Sovereign Free Life podcast. And I have the honor to have Vitaliy with us today. He is a dear, dear friend. We met through Dolores Cahill. I'm very thankful for that. We're also working in the community around water. And also, we've been having so many interesting conversations around sovereignty, freedom, and you have so much wisdom and knowledge, and you're walking your talk. You are doing the things that you're talking about, uh, which I really honor that, and I really have learned so much from you. And yeah, there's so much wisdom in you. So a huge, huge welcome. And please let people know a little bit about your background and how you came about to this path that you're on right now. Would be really, really nice to know.
Thank you. Thank you, Maneka, for invitation and be part of this podcast. I really appreciate, and also it is an honor for me to be able to share and have opportunity to do so. Wisdom, wisdom. I cannot say that wisdom was from the beginning, but the wisdom you gain as you walk. So, and myself, I awaken to the different reality when I was 21. From that time, I mean, now it's 23 years on a journey, and it is a journey. And I can say, the journey that has begun 23 years ago and it's ongoing. I don't know when it's going to stop. So I think it's for eternity because it's so much to learn,
Mm,
especially when you realize that basically what you have been taught in school and that educational system is completely different to the different reality that I know now.
mm, mm.
So,
So
and
true.
I'm very grateful for that awakening that one day my eyes was open, and I
Mm,
know it was a cry of my soul in order to find the path, the truth, because I've been at the stage of life where I did not see the reason for life. I could
mm,
not see what is this all about. If one dies at 20 or 70, what makes a difference
mm,
in one's life?
mm,
And discovering actually the truth of the creation. I can say straight as it is, I came to find actually, that there is a creator. And so that when the journey started with that revelation, things started to make much more sense, and my eyes started to be open to many things around me.
mm,
So now you started to see things as they are and started actually to asking more questions when you have done before. And everything in sovereign community or the people who are awakened, everything starts with a question.
mm.
And as the word as king, asking, says for itself. So you become as king. So
Mm,
so that's the beauty of it. I'm not English born, so I'm originally from Ukraine, and but life took me to different country, to different jurisdiction to wake me up. To is really deep, is uprooting me from my culture, is uprooting me from the tradition of my country and my people in order to bring me to something else, to realize that that there is different way of life.
mm, mm. Mm. Thank you.
So
That's amazing. But what was it that led to that awakening, do you think? Or what happened in that moment? Or and how where did you find any people that inspired you then on this new path? Or how did that happen?
it was, as I said, it was cry of my soul because
Yeah.
I really found myself lost because I was a man that used to put some aims in life and try to reach it no matter what.
Mm,
But when everything is shutters and everything disappears, you become kind of like on the sinking ground. You're almost standing
mm,
on the sand
mm.
and you don't feel the firm ground under your feet.
Yeah.
Then that
Yeah.
is the difficult moment. And I know a lot of people actually been through that, especially young people,
Yeah.
where they actually trying to find themselves in life. Many
Mm,
teenagers going through that, and then even the people in their 20s, if some of them even going up to 40s without even knowing who they are.
yeah.
But I was thankful for that moment because it really helped me to find that firm ground, to seek
Mm,
for the firm ground, to
mm,
ask the questions,
mm.
because without that, I won't be the man that I am now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and even now, I'm at the point, that is continuous growth. So, because it's so much to learn, because
Mm,
the programming that was done starting from the moment we are born by our parents and then the school system, the kindergarten and so on, universities, it is
mm,
really deep. If you think, how many years it takes like 17 years to just school and the kindergarten to
mm,
indoctrinate you, and then plus of that university to specialize you for some crafts.
mm.
So, how many years it would take us actually to unlearn all of that?
Yeah, exactly. And I know we've spoken about it so much, but it's like you say, to know who you really are and to respect that. Could you speak a bit more about that, about that knowing and also how it's related to our society today? Because I think there's so much confusion and it leads to emptiness, it leads to burnout, it leads to a lot of people, like you said, feeling like there's no solid ground anywhere. I've been there as well, where I did the whole story. I went to school, I was a teacher, we were living in a villa, like everything was so like the road that you should be living, but I
Mm,
felt like completely burnt out. It felt so empty. I couldn't spend time with my children. And I knew also, like, you feel this kind of falsehood, like this is not
mm,
the full
true.
truth. Like, could you speak about that and all the work that you've been doing with that as well?
Yeah, that was a cry of the soul, as I said, and it was
Mm,
exactly crying, if somebody up there, please help me here upon the earth. And then my life, it just turned upside down, complete or upside down. I don't know what would be the right word, but it's changed completely.
mm,
And I realized, it's much more to life than I actually thought it is. So,
mm,
stepping on that path actually is to discovering creator in us, because that was the words basically that gave me hope, the love, and actually the zeal to search for more. And from that time on, when I was 21, it never stopped. And when you actually opening and searching, you actually discovering so much treasure to life, and especially that you have that guidance, that you are not by yourself. Because from that time when I was 21, I understood that something came within me, that the creator has given part of himself actually to navigate me through this life. And that part of that, we call it, set apart spirit, or the spirit of the most high. And
mm,
that was the key for me actually, to see the things around me and actually search also myself within. Because again, this is very complex body that we have. I call it temple now, because it is. I realize that where the creator resides. And when we give that honorable place for the creator in this temple, then now we are used as a tool in his hands. And somebody will say, oh, then you're not living your own will. But first of all, we have not come by our own will here upon the earth either. We did not make that choice, or I will be born on that day and so on. No, then we realize that we are part of the creation. And when you realize that part of the creation, that it should be the creator to add to that story. And when you realize who he is, and when you look around and the nature, and everything, the way things created has actually its own meaning. It's so much beauty in the creation, that everything is connected, that everything in relates between each other, that the whole story, it becomes like a beautiful puzzle picture when you realize that everything connects between each other. And so with that, it's really helped me to grow and understand the world around me, and to separate actually something, that the creation of our creator and creation of man, because we there to discover actually that the world that we are living in, or the construct or the system, is actually been made by the man. Because
Mm.
I find it very often that the laws of the man actually contradicts many ways the laws of the creator.
Mm.
And we feel so much battle within that system of the man, because just think, in jurisdiction of Kingdom of Norway or Kingdom of Sweden, how many laws there to follow. There are hundreds, thousands of laws
You could
that
never learn them all, right?
no man is able to learn. No,
No.
it's so much different, and it's not natural, because we have no ability to know all of that. But
Mm.
in the nature, in the natural law, or the laws of the creator, is much, much more simple.
Mm.
You we will see that, there's so much system there in nature that operates perfectly, and they're sustainable, and that they're not complicated, that they just perfectly made,
Mm.
to reproduce life and to keep it.
Yeah, it's like someone said, sometimes ch like a child knows more of what is like right and wrong, what is than a grown up that overcomplicates things and goes into, all these laws and everything. Like a child could point out, like, what are they doing? Like, this is wrong. Come on, everyone knows.
Exactly, exactly. But then also, when you look the system of man, we see it's a pure system of control.
Mm,
And why there is a need of control? Yeah,
mm,
because they want to play the Most High, where the Most High Himself given a man a free will, that we can actually choose,
mm,
that we never be oppressed or suppressed to make decisions. He
mm,
says, you know what, before you I put two ways, one way that leads to life, another way that leads to death. You choose.
mm,
So each one can make a choice.
mm,
And then, yeah, a lot of people actually, without knowing, they walk in on the path of death.
mm,
And they realize, what, after they're born, 20, 30, 40 years on, they getting more sick, and they realize, what, that this body is falling apart
mm,
even at such a young age. And we know even the children now struggling with so much diseases and cancers and so on. And you just think, is that a natural, or that actually inflicted? But when we study and learn more, that the creation of man and all they do, begin with food production, with everything, is actually toxicated.
mm,
And so even from the time when I just walk in, I realize, what, that not everything that was sold on the shelves of the supermarkets are there to eat.
mm.
And when and and when
Most of
you
it you can't eat, actually. You should see me in a store. It's like I can eat like 10% of what's in there, probably.
yeah, we got
Mm.
an application actually that you can scan the product, and it will tell you it's actually good for consumption or not.
Oh, really?
So it's took us two
Oh.
hours with my wife going around the store and trying to find something that we can buy. And you know what? You are completely right to say that it was around 10% that actually was edible. The
Yeah,
rest you can't
yeah.
even call food.
Honestly, yeah. It's like it's shocking. And then sometimes I see people like in front of me, like buying things, and they're not aware at all. It's like, if do they live on that? Like they must be really sick, if they do white bread, like not ecological, or like Coca-Cola, this and that, like just like or they eat that every day or they drink it. And I'm like, but do you know what is in there? Like glycosates and aspartame and all of these toxins that are kind of approved. It's really shocking. But just
Approved again by the system.
going
Mm.
back to the sovereignty, because I think a lot of people, it's not like I'm judging them. They just don't know. They don't know the toxins, both, I believe, like in the mind, in the body, in the soul, like on so many different levels, in the emotions, like mass psychology, like this hypnosis that is being like put on us. How do you know, like when you are walking the path of sovereignty, what is the true will of the creator, and when you're walking another path? I think that's like what people are struggling with, because it's, in one way, it's easy to say, of course, like there's nothing between me and the creator, like that is what I serve, that is what I want to, that is, I'm here, as I see it, as a divine channel for that in every step of the way. But then when people are just waking up to it and they're like, yeah, what to say to them? What is the first steps for them, you would say?
I mean that's why I started with the food, being intoxicated as well, but
Mm,
not you mentioned as well, it's also the spiritual food, the things that we actually take inside of us.
mm,
And again, it's been actually programmed into us actually to live like that, to be intoxicated, to be sick and accept it as normal. So, but
mm,
when you actually realize, okay, the first question, what I do, does it actually give and multiply life? Does
mm,
it sustain life? So
mm,
first, because we are now been programmed that we are far too many upon the earth.
mm,
That the earth is so small place that it cannot hold 8 billion people, or what they say. But
mm,
we know that 8 billion people can be placed in one country like Norway, and everybody have actually place to live,
mm,
not just in the mountains. So
mm,
we realize that basically there is something that a kind of lie that again trying to brainwash us. But again, coming back to life itself. What
mm,
is life?
mm,
What is life? How we can define life?
mm.
Because many people say, oh, well, I probably better die because you know what? I need to save the planet for
Ah,
another generations.
mm,
And this is terrible, and a lot of children actually accepting it because their books already programming that way. A
ah,
lot of them they're saying that soon we need to be eating insects and so on, and so that will just it's so bad that you know what you can give such a thoughts to the young generation, and they will accept it, that they're accepting that they're just a bacteria upon the face of the earth.
mm, mm, mm,
But coming back to life, what my recommendation would be to each and everybody, it's to ask that simple question, what I am doing here upon the earth. Is it just
mm,
an accident, or there is actually a divine plan of me being here? So,
mm,
and again, I won't be able to answer for those questions. Each and everybody would need actually to seek and find that. But
mm,
when you realize that there is a divine plan by the divine creator, that you are here upon the earth to bring light, because that's what we are. If you
mm,
look, for example, at night with an infrared camera, for example, in yourself, what do you see? You see infrared light. That's who we are. And even the whole process of conception, that is the explosion. When the sperm hits the egg, you know what? That is the explosion of light. The light moment happens, and there the moment of creation. And
mm,
from that time, but just they also need to think. I seen very interesting cartoon. Basically, it's about how the conception process. You know what? And it shows that the billions of sperm, the seed that are on their journey to hit their goal to the egg, and only one of you actually that can make to the end. So if people realize that they are already born winners, that they're already inside of them, that the nature of the winner, But
mm,
the problem is when they come out, now from the time they come out, they start this heavy programming by the
mm,
parents and then by the system.
mm,
But when we go back, and this is the key for me of talking about sovereignty, is to coming back to the source. When you come back to the source, you will find out that your source actually is a free will given somebody call it idea, but for me it's actually the reality that he exists, that he is everything omnipresent, that he is everywhere, he is air that I breathe, he is everything around. I mean, you will find him in very DNA of our body. When you look at DNA, it's actually the construct of those acids. It's actually have the name of the creator,
mm,
and that is Yod Hey Vav Hey. It's the construct that 10 5 6 5, the construct of the acids that makes DNA. And
mm,
when we realize that Creator Himself placed His autograph in our body, then the whole thing is okay. You know what? I want to know that one, the author of this temple. And then the story will begin. You will realize, you know what? He is a sovereign because he is only the one that made a claim upon the whole earth, the creator of heaven and earth. There
mm,
is nobody else. There is nobody else that can make a claim higher than that. I know there is elite families that made a claim upon different kind of earth and different claim that they put into fiction, and that's how they were managed to lie to the people and remove their true sovereignty and actually put them in the mind and the state of mind of slaves, that
mm,
they actually hear that they need to work hard to make their way through.
mm,
But again, when you come back to the source and you try to find out who he is and his qualities and his principles, because for me, again, his book became actually the guideline in my life. And when I read from the beginning, he says, you know what? I created man and woman in my own image. What the image is that? When we start studying what kind of image is it, then we realize, my goodness, we have a divine source. We have a divine nature within us.
mm,
And there, most people will start figure it out actually that by finding out the truth, you will actually detest the lies straight away.
mm.
Like, for example, in bankers, the people who print money, they never study the fake money. They only study the true notes,
Ah, mm,
because knowing the true note, when the fake one comes into your space, you will discern it straight away
mm,
because it doesn't look like the real one. The same thing when you know the truth, when you realize your divine nature, when you realize who is your creator and his nature, then everything that actually contradicts that, you know what, you will realize it actually it's a pure lie and a
mm.
construct of man.
Exactly. And I think, I know this, the sovereignty, it frightens, the ones that try to hold on to the old system and everything. But just to be super clear, and I think that's beautiful at how everything that promotes life, that protects life, it's actually very simple, right? It's
Very.
here to be like Dolores as custodians. Like we're here to take care of our physical body, each other, this world, and to just treat each other with honor, respect, and to promote life. And can you speak a bit more for those that don't know very much about it, about the deception, the deception of who we are, of our identity, of, the what happens when we're born. And because a lot of people don't know about that. Some in our circles, they know about it already, but I think it's important to just give a little background also about yeah, those things as well.
Yeah, that's a actually topic in itself, but I will try to be actually short.
Mm,
I would advise people to find a book that called Redemption Manual. I have shared that book with you. I don't know if you have started to read, but it's
Mm,
amazing book that actually introducing to the bits and pieces of how the system is built. I mean, the system that we live right now, it's a reasonably new one. It is actually since 1933, the construct of it, of what I'm talking about the financial system that controls money, and money is the energy. So, but I would say the people that are ruling the world, they had systems in place from the beginning. They was just upgrading it and upgrading it to make it more complicated and sophisticated of how to keep slaves. So
mm,
right now, people actually live in, they think they're free, they think they live in a democracy world, but to be honest, they just don't realize that they are the free slaves, but the slaves that are so craftily brainwashed that they don't realize that they are slaves. And
mm,
that for them, that is a goal, to actually make sure that the person don't realize that they're not, their freedom and their rights been have taken away. So for them, it's a goal in itself. But
mm,
everything in the system, current system that we actually live in, everything starts with your birth. So when the child actually comes to the world, you see everything is also coded very well. Yeah, because you go to the maternity ward actually, and then you will have a doctor that will receive the present from the mother. So what's happening when the mother goes into the maternity ward? She actually becomes she goes into their territory, into the dock, basically like a ship comes to the dock in the sea terms of the maritime law. So a
mm,
mother comes into the maternity ward, and now she is there to deliver the cargo, the child. So as the ship comes to the dock to deliver the goods, so the same thing is happening with the mother when she comes and delivers the baby. Baby now is taken as a goods accepted by the state. That's why they will give the mother the birth certificate after that as a receipt of her giving the cargo to the state. But even before then, you see, talking about the marriage in itself, as years was before, you know what, nobody registered marriage whatsoever. But now everything need to be registered. And if you want to search, people are interested in this, just look for the marriage certificate as a patent of the US government.
mm,
So, and it explains exactly construct, basically relationship between the man and the woman and the state. So
mm,
everything that is created by the union of the man and the woman becomes the ownership, the owners becomes the state. So that's why a lot of people don't realize, you know what, how state so easy can come and take your child. Yes, because for the lack of knowledge, the people are perished. And because of lack of knowledge, the parents given away their offspring, their reward of their hard work to the
mm,
state, and the state will gladly register them in their system. So, and that's how the parents, the pair that rents, they become, could you imagine the father and mother become parents? When you look at that word, the
ugh,
pair that rents, yeah,
oh my
they
God.
just
Yeah.
actually renting the child for the time 18 years until the child become an adult.
Mm,
No,
mm,
no, nobody actually, and I say again, people can search for the English language, the language of magic. There is a very interesting book that explains, the casting of spells, how the English language used to do so.
mm,
And
mm.
um, so
But there's
we
power in the words as well. Like this is
yeah,
something you realize when you go into this world. It's how I think also in media, like you said, a lot of us we're surrounded by words, and words have a strong power. And when we realize it, and when we realize the game, when like a chess game, when you know the rules, then you can start to play the game, right? And that's also, there is
Exactly.
a solution. But when you don't know the game, the other person can just, do whatever they want with you. So I think also what we've been doing in World Freedom Alliance, and also, a lot here in Sweden, trying to just educate people to understand, these are the rules that are being kept from us, not the ordinary ones that the play on the
Mm.
surface, but the real rules that also those that think that they rule us have to follow. Then it starts to
Perfect.
be really fun.
Yeah, but that's where everything begins, because you know what?
Mm.
You are clueless if you don't know the rules of the game. You
Yeah,
have no
exactly.
chance in winning. But when you stop and you realize, you know what? Yes, there is a rules to the game. You know what? There is a terminology to the game. But when I figure it out how to play this game, when I learn, and it does not come everything straight away, because you know what? The rules of that game may complicated, and the terminology is may complicated. But I can say, you know what, even the chess, when you start playing it and first time you sit behind the table, it might be complicated because you need to learn all the figures and their moves. The same thing here. But what I would recommend, everybody who steps on the journey of sovereign or the journey of freedom, you know what, give yourself a mercy or give yourself a time, because the thing is, if you would compare yourself to the giants that already live as a sovereign, and you just beginning, you will know, and you will be discouraged, because you will think, you know what, you will not be able to accomplish. But the
Mm,
journey of 1,000 mile, yes, starts with first step.
mm,
Yeah, everybody need to make a first step. The same with the child. Before the child runs, you know what, it crawls. Before it walks, yeah, it crawls. Before it actually need to walk, it will stand up. And it takes time, and it takes them. I mean, I have right now a nephew that is about, to walk. He can stand, he can crawl, and he is confident with that. But he stands but cannot walk yet. And you can see in his eyes, he have that fear. And that what actually most of us are bound by fear.
mm,
And that's why, talking about, the food and the water and everything, because they made sure that the water and everything that we eat is so polluted and intoxicated that this temple won't be able to awake and actually realize, that there is a different frequency I can operate on.
mm,
And because the frequency of fear, for example, is one of the lowest frequency, and that's their goal, that the people will operate on that low frequency, that they won't be able to awake and come to the different state of mind where the faith operates, where the trust operates, where the peace, love, and joy operates. That they are no go there. And that's why they are very clever, using the stuff and everything. When we start study the stuff that they put in the water, that stuff that they put in the food, you know what, all it does, it dumps us down, dumps the frequencies that are natural for us, because joy is a natural thing for us
mm,
if we're not actually oppressed and suppressed under the fear.
mm, mm,
But that's their tools. And when we operate by or governed by the fear, then it's very hard to go against something that you used to. And
mm,
we are used to this system because this system trained us, and this system have given us security as what we think security is.
mm,
But everything, even this system, the money system, everything operates on the trust. And the trust is starts, I will go back again to the birth certificate, when the government has given a birth certificate. So the father and mother have entrusted their child into the system of this world, into the system of the government.
mm,
What happened after that, the government is very clever here again. They take that birth certificate, and they know that the child has certain value because the father and mother already pay the taxes. So because they also can study that gold standards and all that is removed from the system from 1933. So something need to back up their money system. And it's happened to be that they actually made that way, that we living beings will back up their money system. And so they put a bond on the birth certificate, obligation, whatever you call it. Yeah, and that's where things started, where the government actually create a financial instrument on the basis of the birth certificate. So they actually captured the soul, a living soul, and made a money out of it.
Mm,
What it is that the child and all the rest are becoming actually the collateral or security for the money that they're printing.
mm. And this can be, of course, quite shocking for people that don't know about it. But I know, I mean, I've seen with my own eyes that, I mean, you can actually check on the stock exchange, right? That you can see the personal identity number being used, like our identity numbers being traded. So can you talk a bit about that? Because this is actually quite serious, what is going on. It's starting to
It is,
resemble more like human trafficking than anything. We haven't agreed to this at all
it is,
anywhere.
it is. But again, you see, we have not agreed, yeah, but
Mm,
we have no excuse to learn the rules of the game. And that's where the book that I shared, Redemption Manual, is
mm,
actually the manual that leads you and explains to you the rules of the game and how you can actually become the master of that game, how you can become the controller of that so-called straw man. When you're talking about the personal number or social security number, in UK they call it national insurance number, everything is insurance. So or everything is a surety, everything is the security or financial instrument.
mm,
So the moment we realize that the personal number is actually identification number not of us as a living being, but because in order to create a bond or obligation, the government in need to create an entity, a corporation or so-called trust
mm,
with your name in block capitals. When we read that name, it sounds like our name, yeah, but it's completely representing different entity. And that's where people are confused because when they receive a letter in their name in block capital, they think it relates to them. But no, the government actually talking exactly to the entity they have created. And
mm,
they assume that you are the trustee or the one that administers that entity. And because lack of knowledge and we have not known the rules of the game, we just accepting it as it is. And it can be the bills, it can be the offers that are sent in the post, anything that holds that name, we think it's actually sent to us. But it's to
mm.
contrary to that, it's actually to our straw man.
Yeah, and I think one important thing you said there is that there are offers being made. In the real law, there has to be a mutual agreement, right? And
Exactly.
and
It's
also what I found, like you said, with the book and with like that it's all in the open. You can actually check and do your research like you have done. I've done some of it myself. And in a way, I think they think that they can get away with it by stating what they're doing openly. And but in my view, there's no way that you can come around the laws of the universe, like the laws of the creator, where, if you do harm, this will come back to you. There's no way around it by just stating like almost like me telling you, well, I'm going to hit you now. I give you the chance to run away.
yeah,
It's like the same thing, but if I hit you, that's my fault. Like I did it. I
yeah.
can't I can't say, well, I told you I was going to hit you. So it's your fault. Like that's almost what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, the world is cruel. The world is cruel. I mean, look at the pack of a cigarette. Many people just actually choose that because it's a choice.
Mm,
their choice, but also that cigarette been poisoned actually and make sure that people get addicted. Because
mm,
to be honest, Indians smoke the pipe, and they didn't smoke every day 20 cigarettes per day, but they smoked now and again as the health required, because nicotine in itself, many people don't know, but it's actually a health benefits. But
mm,
the problem is with the cigarettes that people are smoking, actually they infused with many different toxins that made people addicted and intoxicated. So the whole thing is, it's that they using things and they play on the people's addiction. Same thing with alcohol, with
mm,
everything. And plus of that, even the drugs that they produce, why they call it the drug store? They
mm.
intoxicate, that they in a plain open telling us what it is. If you
Yeah.
look at the word pharmakia, and why I'm touching this, just that people realize, you know what, that whole game there is to keep you intoxicated, that you will never
Mm,
realize that there is a different way of life, that
mm.
there is different way of having this body toxin free.
Yeah. Yeah. Could you speak a bit more about that? Like why toxins are so important to eradicate? Like we both work with pure natural water to give that to people. And I mean, why is it so important to get rid of the toxins in your food, in your water, in your air, like in all of your life, and also the radiation, all of those things. Yeah, could you speak on that a bit
I
deeper?
will do it briefly. Toxins, very short, they are lower your frequencies of your body.
Mm,
Every cell that intoxicated, it losing its original frequency.
mm,
And so therefore, actually, it's on the path of death.
mm,
So, but how the way to rejuvenate our body is made to self-heal, but we need to help this body, which means basically to reduce the intake of toxins, to start to remove those toxins. And
mm,
I found to come actually, and thankfully, actually, guys, you have led to me to this path of finding a Kangen water. I was strong believer in purity of water. I always use the reverse osmosis and make sure that the pH there was above 7, because our body is 70% water. I know known this fact was known for me. I mean, since 2007, when I seriously started working with the health,
mm,
and uh, coming to realize that there is canyon, and it's a canyon meaning original water. So it's again, we coming back to its origins. If
mm,
we will step on the path to come back to our origins, our source, where we coming from, if we restore that purity of what we eat, what we drink, yeah, we will be on the way to awaken our soul in this body, because the body will come to the frequency where the soul and the body actually understand each other, and not just each other, they will understand even the maker that made it.
mm,
And that's the beauty of it. When we purify this temple, you will realize that your thoughts are completely different to what they were before. You will realize that you don't have fear anymore,
mm,
and
mm,
you don't have any more fear. The opposite to the fear is trust. So now you see things actually, and you placed um, see things around you like nature, and you discovering actually in nature, in every tree, in every flower, every
mm,
creation, there is a pattern that was designed by the creator, and
mm,
you will realize that everything works perfectly. And that's how, this journey of sovereignty is not just for our own sake, it's actually to restore the order back in the creation, because the man needs to come back to its own origins. And the water, since we are 70% of it, is playing a major factor in it.
mm, mm.
And if you read the
Definitely.
book, or if people have seen the movie or cartoon Wizard of Oz, there is very interesting fact at the end of it, how the wicked witch of the West was actually overcome. It's actually, it was very simple cure. It was pure water.
Oh, wow.
I was, what? We don't
It's
realize,
really funny.
but
Yeah.
what it was just simple H2O. Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, I'm coming to realize over and over how the elements, like taking back the power of the elements, like the water, the air, the food we eat, like the earth, and also the spirit, like in the ether, and the fire, like the truth, those things is like that is what is being attacked because and downgraded, and it's less worth, and no, you shouldn't think about that, and but that is what is important. Like those things, they are what we're here to do, because like you said, we're here to give life, to protect life, and our bodies, like that is our first responsibility, right? To take care of from the creator.
exactly.
To protect this life and to give it what it needs in those basic elements on all aspects is like you said, it actually, the toxins actually block the pineal gland, it blocks the functions of the body, so that, and blocks the connection to source. That is the terrible truth of it, like you're saying. And because why? Because the connection to source within ourselves is the most scariest thing for the ones that think they can control us, because then they
Mhm.
can't control us any longer. Because then we know we have the right to always have our free will. We have the right to say yes, to say no. Well, this is not true. This is not right. And
It's
we,
beautiful. It's beautiful because people, when they realize that the key to freedom is actually given to them, they just need to use it. It doesn't mean that they will use it straight away and they will open the doors straight away. But when they learn the rules of the game, when they learn how to keep the temple clean and pure, yeah, then they will realize that the power that is hidden within, yeah, is so amazing and it's unstoppable. And that's what those elites are, they're really afraid of. That's why they need to pollute everything. That's why they need to spray our earth every single day. That's why they need to manipulate, they need to intoxicate the waters and so on.
mm,
I mean, even go to the water store, to the store to buy the water. It's
mm.
hard to choose something that is not polluted.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I
From
was just thinking,
plastics.
you know what? Just simple thing like water. We have a right to clean, pure water, but the
Mm,
whole thing, they even remove that
yeah.
because, for them, the healed soul or healed body, yeah, it's a lost customer
Mm, mm,
because they can't earn anything on you, because the only way they can actually earn on you when you freaked out, when you in their control and given completely their energy to them. So
yeah.
for them, we are the bio batteries.
Mm,
So each and everybody of us can make a choice. Do I really want to be a bio battery to that
mm.
system, or somebody call it matrix?
Exactly. Now we're coming to the matrix. It's like the red and the blue pill.
Yeah, exactly.
But it
And
is in reality.
And that's a choice that each and everybody needs to make.
Mm,
What is blue pill representing?
mm, mm,
It represents water, but water not in our sense, but maritime law,
mm,
commerce.
mm,
What does it red pill represents? It represents blood, flesh and blood, man, and
mm.
nature of things,
Reality. Yeah.
a reality.
Mm,
So either we, and here it is, you know what? And everybody can make a choice today. Either I take a blue pill and follow the path of the commerce and be the commercial unity and be just a buyer battery in that commercial world, or we take a red pill, we awaken, and we take the path of sovereignty where we realize that we are the power, we are actually the light here upon the earth. We
mm.
are the life that can actually spread life.
Mm.
And
Oh,
and that's each and
beautiful.
everybody can decide.
Mm. Yeah,
You know,
stop
nobody
giving
can be
away
forced.
our energy to something that doesn't serve life.
Exactly.
Mm,
So, and they're two opposites. They're really two opposites. One that brings death, another
mm,
one that brings life.
mm,
That's why the system that they run is actually based, the foundation is death. That's why their goal of that system is to depopulate as much as possible.
mm,
Because the thing is, they find it too hard to control the people that are awakened.
mm.
And for them, because they're parasites, they're living on the backs of other people because they use us as the bioenergy or bio batteries. That's for them is so crucial. If they miss the control, their game is over.
Yeah, yeah. And just to end on a positive note, I think we're seeing such amazing awakening today. And I really believe that the future is all of us that are sovereign, awakened, and know who we are, just simply coming together. And it doesn't mean that you have to, I think a lot of people think then you have to oppose. It's like war, like, no, it's the opposite. It is living in peace, it's living in truth. It is complete, just being the creator again, right? Creating the new, creating the positive, and then
Yeah,
just transitioning, peacefully, quietly transitioning and just saying, no, I'm not your slave. I'm not in your control. You know what? I think it's more fun to do this, than to play your game.
exactly. So each and everybody made a choice today. You know, today is the day, and today is the day to make a choice.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Vitali. You're just pouring out so much inspiration and truth and clarity. And I'm sure we're going to speak again another time and
Definitely.
get into,
For
into other
sure. If you
questions.
have a time and possibility, I'm ready to join.
Yeah. Thank you so much for
Okay.
being with us. Looking
Okay.
forward to continue our work together.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Peaceful
Thank you
day.
so much.
Ciao.
Thank you. Bye bye.